Hey pal, can you spare a little glue for a fellow modeler who's down on his luck? Well, hey everybody, just thought I'd do something a little bit different. It's beautiful out here. I have to wear sleeves for the first time this year. Not a cloud in the sky. I can see what I believe is Venus, so I guess I've got, what, 22 million mile visibility today? You don't get much more KVU than that. That's ceiling visibility unlimited. Well, got a few things done today. We had to go out and do real world stuff, but I managed to get cracking on that little Starfix 109, which is nice thing about a kit like that. You just build it without worrying about it. You know, it's a Starfix kit and they're so much fun just to have a carefree build, and I'll probably paint it tomorrow. I did a little bit of work on the diorama stuff, mainly putting the dull coat on the Army trucks. And when I did it, I realized I had, you know, put the weathering and everything on the bed of one of the trucks, but not the other, so I still need to do that. But anyway, a little bit of work on the Typhoon. Got the engine nozzles painted jet exhaust, and then got them attached. So most of the work was on the Chickasaw, a lot of pre-painting, got the engine built and some other stuff, some internal components. I'll probably assemble it tomorrow. I'll probably go in after this, do a little bit more work, but feeling more of an editing mode right now, so I'll probably go put something together on the computer. And maybe I can get this out before it has to be a early show. And just drinking ice water right now. Yeah, a few other little odds and ends. Nothing too much. Really, now kind of starting to plan out how the diorama is going to work, getting some of the accoutrements built. One of the nice things about those M35 trucks is that they come with I may have mentioned this, but the rifles are all separate, as are the radios and the generators and the communication spool, wire spools and everything. So they actually come with between the two trucks, a pretty nice little amount of accoutrements. And between that and the cargo that came with the pickup trucks and the 2 tons, I'm able, a lot of this is going to help to flesh out the diorama, and I'm pretty much working on it. The H-19, as I said this morning, originally I was going to put it in Army markings since it was Army trucks. I figured, well, it's kind of an, you know, all Army or National Guard thing. I started thinking about it. Well, the actual helicopter in Air Force markings is a rescue helicopter, so that's really apropos to what we're doing. And of course, in a situation like this, it would be all hands on deck, so it's not like it would be, you know, all one or all the other. And I thought about posing the helicopter with the engine open and have the mechanic working on it, but I actually have other plans for that. So I could bore you with what I'm planning to do with the layout, but it might change. But right now, and plus I kind of like to save it for the reveal so I can tell the story during the reveal, and it not exactly be a surprise, but, you know, just be a little more, you know, yeah, we already know that, you kind of, oh, that's what they're doing. And again, if I change what I'm going to do with it. I thought about doing a live stream tomorrow evening to keep our minds off what's going on, because what's going to happen is going to happen, and there's no point in obsessing about it. But I've been pulled away to a family function, so there probably won't be a show tomorrow night. And if I do, if there is, I'll probably get it out early. Maybe I'll get a chance to come out here and finish up the helicopter. Well, I'll finish up the helicopter, get some work done on it, and then get the something put out before I go over. So we'll see how that all works out. Anyway, really not a whole lot else for this evening. I was talking about decals earlier, and one thing I had failed to mention, I believe it was Mike Machat was telling me how decals are made when, I think it was when he was working with Lodella, the Mexican kit model company. And making decals like we have on kit models is actually quite a production. It's not a simple process. That's why decals are so expensive. And and I think that's one reason it's so important to keep your decals in good condition and to try and restore them if they get old, if you can use them. But of course, laser printers have made homemade decals a lot easier to do and do very well. I'll probably do some for the diorama. But one of the things I had failed to mention was that the trucks, of course, since they're identical kits, even though, you know, I'm not really, this is not a rivet counting diorama, I did decide to go ahead and at least change the numbers on the truck. So the trucks have slightly different numbers on them, and basically what I did is I used the out-of-the-box, you know, hood numbers for one truck and then just took a number off the other truck and switched the bumper numbers around. So there's that. Just, you know, that's one reason I decaled the two fuel trucks differently, was because I'm like, yeah, they're part of a corporate fleet, but corporate fleets vehicles often have different, slightly, you know, amended paint schemes. I just figured if it's just a little bit different, it's just not the same thing over and over again, and which I think is a pretty good reflection of reality. And if that other Ford truck shows up, which I think it will before I get this done so I can do it, I was thinking, you know, I'm not going to make it look like the blue one. I'll paint it a different color. I'll probably put some equipment on it to maybe look like a plumber's truck or an electrician's truck, or maybe put a framing on it, you know, something so that even though they're both the same vehicle, now the two police motorcycles will probably look the same. And so on. I almost, today I was a Hobby Lobby, and man, they were running light on models. They had 40% off on all the box models, and I'm starting to think maybe I should have grabbed them, but I was thinking the only vehicles they had in 1/48 scale were the Atlantis repops of the Patton tank. And I think right scale, right era, those would look really good. But let me think about it, because I may go back and grab them, but it's one of those things that I just don't want this thing to get out of hand. You know, you start off doing an Axis diorama, the next thing you know, all you've done is make a big military camp, and I'm like, that's not the purpose of this thing. The whole emphasis is to tell a story of the people leaving. But then, and this is kind of the thought process that's in my head. I'll just bore you with this. I'm looking at them, and okay, they're 20 bucks each, 40% off. So, you know, hey, I can save a bunch of money by just grabbing both of them. There's only two left, although I'm sure Hurricane Hobbies probably has some. Have the right scale, the right era, and if I was to put them at the far end of the diorama, like, okay, the people, the Exodus is evacuating, these guys are like a rear guard, you know, just keeping an eye on things. Just the presence of a couple of tanks in the military would help keep people, you know, keep it from becoming like a rout, you know, and mob riot take over, and you just, there's still some semblance of you know, order and command. Also, they would be there in case whatever the people are running from was to make its way. These tanks might be the first line of defense. So I was thinking, okay, that I could see that, you know, but then I thought to myself, but wait a minute. This is supposed to be out in the hinterlands. You know, the helicopter makes sense. It can fly everywhere. A couple of army trucks, you know, from some smaller nearby. But yeah, that'll make sense. But tanks are hard to deploy. You know, tanks usually get where they're going on the back of a dragon wagon or something, you know, or a train. And then once they're local, they drive it. So getting tanks out there just a day or two after, because this is supposed to be like day 2 or maybe day 3 of the catastrophe. Getting tanks out there would be a whole nother thing. And, you know, I'm telling a story with this. I want to stay focused on that story. And I think adding too many military assets, especially ones that would be difficult to deploy, would try to sort of take away from it. Then, of course, I could photograph it both ways, with and without. And that's another thing I'm thinking about. Okay, set the diorama up, take the pictures, but then maybe set it up a different way for a different threat vector. You know, this way, this is the way people would flee if it was Martian invasion. This is the way people would flee if it was atomic bombs. This is the way they would flee if it was kaiju. This is, you know, tell more than one story. But You can tell I'm really getting into this. I thought this was just going to be, I'm just going to throw these trucks together, stick a couple of figures on it, take a couple of snapshots. But man, once I started painting the characters and doing and building everything, the story starts swirling in my head and it starts taking a life of its own. I just hope when I'm done, it's not anticlimactic. I was thinking about when I do this and I put it all together in a video, it's probably only going to be a few minutes long, maybe not. It just depends on how I can tell the story. And you know, joy of model building. You know, you're creating or recreating. Well, your models tell a story. And one person told me you should, if you want to get kids into modeling, tell them it's a three-dimensional puzzle, which it kind of is. But it's a puzzle that can tell a story. And I'll bet you most of you have a story in your head, if nowhere else, behind pretty much every model you built. Because while you're building it, you were just thinking about what this is or what it would have been. And you know you did if you kit bashed, because kit bashing, by its very essence, is storytelling. You're changing something. Well, you're changing it for a reason. So, wow, I can really go out as some esoterica, can't I? Okay, I prattled on long enough. I'll leave you guys be. Y'all have a pleasant night, and we'll see you guys later. Take care. Go. I'm done.